all the things I need to make my morning cup of coffee. Coffee grinder, water boiler, AeroPress, microfilters, mugs, coffee beans. Now these things take power, electricity, so I plug them in over here. This coffee grinder does a really great job of finely grinding my beans so each brew is filled with delicious flavors. These beans were expensive, but I tell myself that trying new types of coffee is a hobby, a worthwhile one, and that it's okay to spend a little extra. The AeroPress is such a simple mechanism. It just needs me, my hands, to create the energy needed to make a full-bodied, clean cup of coffee. Here we have the two main components, the brew chamber and the plunger. First, I will take a microfilter and I'll put it in the brew chamber. Then I'll add 1 scoop or about 17 grams of my finely ground beans. Then when my water is just under boil, so at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I'll slowly, in a circular motion, pour it over my beans, making sure all of them are saturated. The water goes up to the fore of my brew chamber. I'll grab my plunger and gently press down and pull up to create a pressure seal. But we won't plunge yet. We've got to give our beans a chance to steep. Hey Siri, set a timer for 35 seconds.
Your timer is set for 35 seconds.
I love coffee. I like the way it tastes, but I love the way it makes me feel. The caffeine, the buzz, the jolt into the present moment that just makes me feel smart. Not only smart, but like I could conquer the world. Like I could just get over all my fears and fucking do this life. I didn't used to drink coffee every morning, but now I do. It's an addiction. My caffeine addiction started about 2.5 years ago when my older brother Andrew died. My only brother, no sisters. There's just something about caffeine that's helped me cope with being an only child. Okay, now I'm gonna take the plunger off the brew chamber, give the coffee a swirl with my paddle. Ooh. And then I'm going to press down all the way until we hear a hiss. Did you hear that? The coffee is saying, I'm ready, I'm ready. For such a simple mechanism, the AeroPress sure does pack a powerful punch of possibilities. I love coffee. It's a ritual. I do get some pleasure from the ritual, but I mostly love coffee because caffeine is a drug, and drugs make me feel good. Well, not all the time. My older brother, he was a heroin addict, and 2.5 years ago when he died, he accidentally overdosed. It was his 3rd time that I know of, but it wasn't like Andrew's addiction started with heroin or just 2.5 years ago. From 12 to 23, my brother leapfrogged from dependency to dependency to dependency. Growing up, there was always a fight in my house because Andrew got caught with beer cans under his bed, or Andrew got caught hitting a bowl in the bathroom upstairs, the fan turned on, or Andrew got caught stealing Dad's Xanax, or Mom's Oxycontin, or Andrew spent $3,000 in 10 days on a boatload of heroin and got caught with an apartment full of needles, steps leading up to death, a ritual habit that's difficult to break. Now, coffee, caffeine, is a shifty little drug. It pretends to be adenosine, the neurochemical in your brain that says, hey, it's time to go to sleep. But while caffeine pretends to be adenosine, actual adenosine is blocked from the A1 receptor, so adenosine can't do its job. With this receptor blocked, dopamine is allowed to roam more freely through our neurochemicals, bringing us that sweet, sweet, euphoric buzz. Dopamine. Sweet, sweet dopamine. When we do the 3 things we must do to keep the human race alive, eat, drink, and have sex, dopamine hits our brains and says, yeah, and keep doing that. That euphoria, that pleasure response induced by dopamine helps our brain learn what our bodies need to stay alive. Now, coffee, caffeine, it's totally legal. Now, many illegal drugs also bump up our brain's production of dopamine, like caffeine, just on a much, much larger scale. But heroin supersaturates the brain with dopamine. The opiates in heroin attach to the opiate receptors on what's called our gamma-amytric acid, or GABA. GABA is an inhibitory agent that's released when dopamine is abnormally high. So if you're having a really, really good day, GABA is like, oh, wait, hold on just a second, cool off. But just like when caffeine blocks RA1 receptor, when the opiates in heroin attach to the opiate receptors on our GABA, GABA cannot do its job. With these receptors blocked, dopamine is allowed to roam wild, like you would not believe. I asked my brother what it was like to know such an extreme level of euphoria, and he said, it's like everything now is dull. It's just boring. After I did heroin, I just forgot how to be excited. And I've been really stuck on that for the last 2.5 years. What was it like for my brother to forget how to be excited? Have I ever lost my ability to be excited? Yeah, I absolutely have. The first time I kissed Hannah Jones, I'm sitting on my parents' couch in my parents' living room, and we're watching Charlie Chaplin's The Kid. The movie is about 50 minutes long, and I sit the entire time, my arm wrapped around Hannah's shoulders. During the climax of the film, the kid, played by Jackie Coogan, is taken away by Child Services because the state has deemed Charlie's modest home an unfit place to raise a child. Now, Charlie has based his life around the kid, struggling to raise him with very little after literally finding him alone, abandoned in a gutter. He loves this little boy, so much so that when these 2 Child Services agents cart him off in the flatbed of their pickup truck, Charlie fights off a police officer attempting to restrain him and makes his way to the rooftops of London for the most emotionally charged chase scene in cinematic history. Now, I'm watching Charlie chase Jackie, and my heart is beating very fast, not because of the chase scene, but because I want to kiss Hannah really badly, and I am so nervous. But I'm also really excited. It's a new type of excitement that I've never felt before. It's not sexual, well, not entirely. There are some sexual undertones in this excitement. But I'm mostly excited because as I sit here on my parents' couch in my parents' living room, I know that she is the first girl I will ever fall in love with. And as the movie reaches its climax, I realize that the moments that could be the moment Hannah and I kiss for the first time are running out. Because when the movie's over, we'll stand up and turn the lights on and she'll go home. And maybe I'll never see her again. Maybe this is my only chance. And my heart starts beating so fast that I am pretty certain that Hannah, leaning against my chest, can probably feel it beating too. And this starts a terrible cycle. I'm nervous, so my heart is beating very quickly. And I know that Hannah can feel it beating, which makes me more nervous, which makes my heart beat faster, which makes me more nervous that she can feel it beating, which makes my heart beat faster and harder and faster, and thankfully, she's never seen this movie before, so I'm hoping one of the most classic films of all time is distracting her from how romantically incompetent I'm being in this moment. A moment that feels so important. Charlie gives the cop the slip, zigzags over rooftops, jumps down to a shed, and steps out and onto the moving vehicle as it rolls by. And after wrestling one of the Child Services agents off the moving truck, it comes to a stop,
And he sends the other agent off with a firm slapstick kick to the backside, and Charlie is so happy to see Jackie safe and not in an orphanage that he kisses him right on the lips. Not in a sexual way, but in a, Jesus, what was I supposed to do without you for the rest of my life kind of way. And the credits begin to roll, and I know that this is it. If I'm ever gonna kiss Hannah Jones, this is my moment. Here on my parents' couch, in my parents' living room, to the credits of my favorite movie of all time. She looks up at me, and I go for it. Our lips touch, and the credits roll, and dopamine says, oh yeah, get that kiss. 3 months go by kissing and watching movies in my parents' living room, and my brain and dopamine are becoming more closely acquainted. It doesn't get too intense. GABA doesn't have to come around. We don't have sex, but we do kiss passionately, regularly. And that gives dopamine a good reason to come around on a regular basis. And I like it. I like it a lot. I am in love with Hannah Jones, and I am so excited for our first holiday season together. We spent Christmas Eve on her parents' couch in her parents' living room listening to Michael Bublé. And she takes me to a New Year's Eve party hosted by her friend Emma Hearn. Now Emma has invited her boyfriend and one other couple. They're all older than me, in Hannah's grade. They're people that I've heard of, but haven't had the chance to hang out with until now. So I am very excited for this party. The 6 of us stay up late, laughing and talking and laughing and talking, and soon after the ball drops and I get my first real New Year's kiss, the boys go to sleep on the floor in the living room and the girls go to sleep upstairs in Emma's room. I fall asleep next to Taylor, Emma's boyfriend, but before I fall asleep, I can't help but talk about Hannah. I tell Taylor, I've never felt this way before. She makes me feel so good. I mean, she is so smart and beautiful. I don't know what I've done to deserve this. He's happy for me. He is so cool. He thinks I'm cool. No, I am cool. There is something for me on this floor that I have never felt before. I have watched my older brother growing up be so cool. And he has friends and girlfriends and so many people that love him. And I fall asleep feeling like I'm a part of something new, a new group of people who are going to help me become the person I've always wanted to be. And the next morning, New Year's Day, 2009, the boys sit at the kitchen table ready for breakfast and the girls come downstairs, but Hannah isn't there. I ask Emma where she's gone to, and she says that Hannah went home early that morning. Didn't she tell you she was going home? No, she didn't tell me she was going home, because she was supposed to be my ride home, because she's older and has a car and a license, and Emma's house is way out far away from everything else. So I call my mom, she comes and picks me up, and on my way home, I text Hannah to make sure everything's all right. And she says that she wants to meet me at our high school's football field. That she wants to talk. Now, I know what this means, but I'm optimistic. I tell myself, maybe she just wants to apologize. Maybe she feels bad for leaving me at Emma's house without saying goodbye. Maybe she feels exactly the way I do, and we're gonna spend the rest of our happy lives together. Since it's New Year's Day, the school is completely deserted. I stand on the cement track that circles the football field, and Hannah pulls up in her powder blue VW Bug, parks, gets out, walks over to me. I greet her with a kiss. My friend Dopamine begins to say hello, but is abruptly cut off because Hannah does not kiss me back. I have grown very accustomed to this hello kiss. It's a ritual that ties me back to the reasons why we've agreed to be together. But this kiss is different because it burns so hot and deep in my stomach because I know it's over. We walk around the track,
and she breaks up with me. It's quick. It just takes one complete lap, 400 meters. She goes driving away in her VW Bug, and I lay down in the grass and I cry and I scream, and I so badly want to understand how I can want someone who doesn't want me back, who can break it off so clean in just one try and just one lap around the track. And I forget, for a little while, what it's like to be excited. Heartbreak. This is my first heartbreak. Heartbreak? It's totally legal. Someone's heart getting broken is completely 100% legal. Sure, a partner could do plenty of illegal things during a breakup, but taken at face value, a heartbreak is a completely legal, normal part of life. The first thing you need for a heartbreak is love. First, love needs to heat up. For that, you need power, attraction. So I have plugged that in over here. Now once I got used to having 1 cup of coffee every day, 1 cup was not enough. I started making 1 cup in the morning using my AeroPress, and then buying another cup of coffee at some point during my day. Usually before something that could use a bit more excitement. At first, that second cup was fun. It's just a little pick-me-up. But then I started to need it, and I didn't like that. It was getting to be an expensive habit, $4 or $5 a day at a fancy coffee shop, and the caffeine in the afternoon was not helping me sleep at night. I tried to cut back, but I got achy and tired and pissed off, so now I always have at least 2 cups of coffee every day. And once attraction is boiling over, dopamine is produced, originating from A10 cells in the ventral tegmental area. Now the ventral tegmental area, or the VTA, is below cognitive thinking. It's underneath emotions. It's what's often referred to as the reptilian brain. The VTA provides romantic and sexual motivation. It pulls us closer to the people we want to be with. The VTA says, oh yeah, no, you're the one. Stay. 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 Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 minute.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 minute.
Soaked in dopamine, this brain, these hearts, are bound together by chemicals sent from our reptilian core. As crazy as it might sound, I feel like I left something with Hannah Jones that I never got back. And we dated for 3 months, 10 years ago. There was just something about us, something about the way we made me feel. Let's call that feeling curiosity. That no one else has ever made me feel ever again. Well, that's not true. There was someone I did when I was 16 at summer camp that made me feel a whole lot of something. Let's call that feeling curiosity. That camp was 6 weeks long, and on the last night of that 6 weeks, we did not leave each other's side. We wanted to soak up every last moment of that curiosity that we felt for one another. It was a very sad goodbye. As I left our dorm Barbara Hall, I turned back to say goodbye one more time to get one more hit of that beautiful feeling, and she gave me a smile, a smile that said, I love you and everything's gonna be alright. And it was, but it wasn't. I mean, I never saw her again. And now that the brain is steeped in dopamine, it's time for love to find its home. Here in this home, you have street signs and neighborhoods, front doors and staircases, bathroom sinks and nightstands and overhead fans. Now these things don't mean much until memories are created around them. The home begins to happen when you get to be in a space with the person you love again and again and again. I mean, a front door begins to mean much more after loving around it. Front doors and hallways and living rooms, they hold all of that love. There is so much of it.
almost too much of it. And those spaces get so warm and lovely, you could just stay in there all day and night if you wanted to. So sometimes you do. But then it starts to not matter whether you want to or not, because the love that kept you home starts to die and those spaces change. Front doors and hallways and living rooms feel empty. The love I made with my camp girlfriend, her name was Charlie, lived in Providence, Rhode Island. It's 2009. It's summer. Summer in Providence is beautiful. Sunny in the 70s with a nice breeze and blue skies. Everyone you meet there is smart, curious. Everybody thinks. And I think. I could be a nerd here like I never could at home. Day one, when Mom and Dad and Andrew dropped me off on Brown's campus, is Providence's Pride Parade. And I've never seen anything like it. It's loud and happy and a celebration of self and love and self-love, and Andrew calls it Homo-palooza. I don't want to tell him to shut up, that this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, but I don't, because he's my big brother. And about 15 minutes after Mom and Dad and Andrew leave, I meet Charlie. It's love at first sight. She's at the bottom of the stairs with her rolly suitcase, and I'm leaving Barber Hall for the first time to walk the streets of Providence alone, and she's walking up the stairs and I'm walking down, and she says, "Hi there," and I say, "Hello," and a tidal wave of dopamine comes crashing down on my brain. Who was that girl? I think to myself walking down the street, waves and waves of dopamine rolling one on top of the other. And about a week into camp, on the first day we have off from classes, Charlie and I explore Providence in a way she likes to see a new city. Right or left, she asks. Each time we get to a new intersection, we take turns choosing which way to go. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Where are we going? Nobody knows. We get lost together. Right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right. Where are we going? We'll find out together. We walk all around College Hill, through quads and courtyards and dorm room alleyways and side streets. We find ourselves on Thayer Street, and Thayer Street has all the shops and restaurants. We see a crepe place. What's a crepe? We take a break. We eat crepes. I have never had a crepe before, and they are incredible. I think to myself, they're like a pancake, but better. Charlie is very cultured. At 16, she has traveled the world. She has been to every continent except Antarctica. Experiencing so much of the world at such a young age has filled her with an immeasurable amount of curiosity. She asks so many questions. What kind of flower is that? What's that shop selling? What language are those people speaking? Who do you think will write the next great American novel? Charlie was just in Paris last summer, so she says these crepes are incredible, but they're not as good as the ones in Paris, she says. Not as good as crepes vendors sell to tourists on the streets of Paris, she says. But they'll do, she says. I think my crepe is incredible. Sitting across from Charlie, eating my crepe topped with Nutella and strawberries and bananas, dopamine is like, oh my god, I love crepes! This is really the best dopamine has felt in quite some time. Crepes inspire curiosity. Providence inspires curiosity. Charlie inspires curiosity. We finish our crepes. We leave the crepe place. Left, right, left. Where do you think the institution of marriage is headed? How do you feel like Catholicism has shaped our society's collective feelings around sex and sexuality? Have you ever had sex? We find ourselves in the main green. The main green is exactly what it sounds like. A big, beautiful patch of grass in front of some of Brown's main buildings. These buildings are beautiful, and the way buildings built hundreds of years ago can only be beautiful. Brown University was founded in 1764, so we are certainly not the first couple whose wanderings have led us to this spot. This looks like the perfect place for a nap, she says. Charlie has napped on many beautiful patches of grass all over the world, so she knows. She lays down, and I follow suit, resting my head on her stomach. It's summer, so campus is empty, and the main green is deserted. It kind of feels like that football field where Hannah Jones broke up with me just a few months ago. Oh yeah, it's just been a few months. 4 to be exact. I have told Charlie all about my recent heartbreak. She is sympathetic, but she can't relate. She's never been in a relationship. She's 16 and traveled the world, but she's never been in a relationship. I've done that. I was in love with Hannah Jones. We lie down in the main green, just in front of University Hall, a building so old and with so much history. It was used as a barracks for soldiers during the Revolutionary War. George Washington's men slept here and then went to battle. And now here we are, lying in front of where those men slept, but we don't sleep. I can't stop thinking about kissing Charlie. And then I stop thinking about it, and I do it. I crawl up next to her and we kiss. It's a simple, closed-mouth kiss, but it isn't sweet. It's more than sweet. I'm her first kiss. Seriously. The first time her lips ever touch a boy's lips. My lips. She's 16, she's traveled the world, but she's never kissed a boy, but now she has me. Now she knows what it's like. No more first kiss. So I guess I'll just lay my head back down on her stomach, like nothing ever happened. But I can't pretend. We can't pretend. No more first kiss, but something else dangerous looms just out of reach, like a shark trailing a surfer riding a wave. She is not my first kiss, and when we have our first kiss, she knows this. She wanted to hear all about my romantic history. She had so many questions, and I answered them earlier today as we explored Providence. Left, right, left. What was your first kiss like? I tell her about kissing Samantha on the slide at Woodlake United Methodist Church. The way I shoved my tongue down her throat like an anteater. Have you ever done more than kissing? I tell her about the time Julie snuck into my parents' house and we made out in my bed and awkwardly attempted hand stuff for the first time. Have you ever kissed somebody you shouldn't have kissed? I tell her the time about how I kissed Chrissy, my brother's girlfriend, at the shallow end of the pool, while Andrew was at the other end of the pool using the diving boards. These stories make me feel smart. Not only smart, but like I could conquer the world. Like I could get over all my fears and fucking do this life. Charlie is so smart. She has been all over the world. I have never been off the East Coast, but with these stories, I am somebody. I have seen things. I have been places. I am a sexual explorer. I have crossed the oceans and traversed deserts. Maybe I haven't been places, but I have been places where things feel true, where I feel like my most perfect self. It is in that heat, in that fire of another person's mouth that brings it all out, the beautiful 16-year-old man that I am, that my brother has always been. We lie down on the main green after Charlie gets her first kiss, and she wants to hear more of my kissing stories, and I am happy to tell them. How many people have you kissed? She wants me to count them up. So we do. We start counting, and lying there on the main green after Charlie gets her first kiss, we figure out that she is the 29th girl I have kissed. I am 16 and I have kissed a lot. I love that I've kissed 29 girls. I love that I've kissed 29 girls, and I think Charlie likes it too. She laughs and rolls her eyes and flutters them all at the same time. She can't stop smiling. I love that I've kissed 29 girls because it simultaneously helps our first kiss feel special and insignificant. Special because there's 29 girls that like me enough to kiss me. Bam! 29! Count them up! That is almost 30! I almost kissed 30 girls, and I'm not even 17. I bet my brother hasn't kissed 30 girls. And well, if he has, I'll kiss more. I love that our kiss feels insignificant because it's just a kiss. and a whole long list of kisses. It's just a kiss, and just being a kiss gives it a lot less risk. Because we can feel it, the risk, the uncertainty, the shark riding the wave, left, right, left. Where are we going? Why are we here on the main green kissing? She had never kissed a boy before, but now she has. For fun, Charlie starts calling me number 1, and she wants me to call her number 29. And then we shorten it to 1 and 29, and in the next few weeks, 29 and I do a lot of exploring together. We go to Little Italy and get cannolis. I've never had a cannoli before, and they are incredible. I'm standing on the streets of Little Italy, eating a cannoli, and dopamine is like, oh my god, I love cannolis! Not as good as the ones in Florence, she says. We go see plays at Trinity Repertory Theater. World premieres by rising star playwrights and actors that could be the next somebody. These plays blow my mind. And we get pizza at Nice Slice and ice cream at Ben & Jerry's. And we go on long evening walks and on day trips to Newport and on day trips to Boston. And always at the end of the night, we come home to Barber Hall to make out. Now, we both have roommates, hers Nadia and mine James, and neither of them have camp lovers, so they're always in our dorms at night, and we can't make out in our rooms in front of our roommates, but it's summer, so campus is empty, and there are entire floors of Barber Hall that are unoccupied. Now, these dorms and these floors are, of course, locked, so we can't get into those empty rooms, to those empty beds. But we do find nooks and crannies along these empty corridors to sink down and suck on each other's faces. These hallways are so quiet. Except the noise of us kissing, and our bodies moving along the floor and against the wall and against each other. All of our clothes stay on, but we do kiss hard. And I can feel her. I can feel the warmth between her legs radiating towards the warmth between mine. We're like two lovers on adjacent mountaintops calling to each other so desperately but completely in vain. I'll never be complete without you. I promise I'll always wait for you. We do this night after night after night for hours and hours. We have no curfew. No mom or dad to tell us to come home or to wash up for dinner. It seems like we have endless hours to experience each other and explore our curiosity for this dangerously delicious line between sex and not sex. And now Charlie's first kiss has become her first makeout. Her first makeout has become her first regular sexual anything. And all of this walking and eating and seeing plays has become her first relationship. And I feel special. I mean, not 6 months ago, I was rejected by someone I worshipped. And now somebody likes me. They like me enough to deem me worthy of being their first. And I feel special. I feel older. I feel like the person I've always wanted to be. And night after night of sucking face and hot legs locked like smelted iron and exploring this line, I realize that I am ready for my first. For sex. With Charlie. I've never been in a position to lose my virginity. I mean, I know Hannah and I never really came close to having sex, but even if we did, I don't think it would have felt right. Maybe it was fear, but with Charlie, I don't feel afraid. All I feel is ready. But I don't say anything at first. I can't say anything at first. I think a lot about it. Jack, you were her first kiss 3 weeks ago. She cannot be ready for sex. But this is camp, so we just have a few weeks to figure it out. So I've got to act fast. One night, after our hallway love, I tell her that I'm ready. I tell her that I've never felt this way before, never before. Not with any of the 28, but with 29, it just feels right. She's real, she's it, this is it. Charlie, I want you to know how I feel. I want to show you how I feel. If we had sex, we could be together, like, for real. If we lose our virginities to one another, it'll bind us together past these halls, past Brown and Providence, and into the rest of our lives. I mean, you'll go home and I'll go home, but we'll never be apart. Not really. We can visit. We can make visiting a habit. A ritual. I know that you'll be in Italy right after camp and that we won't have much of a chance to talk while you're there because a text message costs like $10 or whatever, but there are internet cafes, right? I mean, you could go to an internet cafe and we could talk just a few times while you're there. That's all I need. And then when you're back in California, I can come visit you there and you can come visit me in Virginia. Not right away, but once school gets started, we'll pick some weekends and book some flights and make it happen. And then maybe we both get into Brown. I've been thinking about this a lot. We don't have sex. Charlie says that she doesn't want to go 0 to 60 so quickly. I get it. I don't ask again, but I don't stop wanting to. And we don't stop spending time together. We spend more time together. The closer our 6 weeks gets to running out, the more time we find to slip away into one of those empty corridors. We continue to make love without having sex in the empty hallways of Barber Hall. And my brain and dopamine are becoming more closely acquainted. It's kind of like how it was with Hannah Jones, the way we got into a routine of flooding our brains with dopamine by making out on my parents' couch in my parents' living room. But this is heavier, more potent. In the empty hallways of Barber Hall, everything slows down and speeds up all at the same time. I am pent up and frustrated, but it's beautiful. And this is the most beautiful frustration has ever felt. And on the last night at camp, Charlie asks Nadia if she can sleep on somebody else's floor for the night so we can have a little privacy. We stay up late, lying in Charlie's bed, talking and kissing and talking, and she has something to tell me. She needs to tell me something, but she's afraid. What is it, I think to myself? We've been best friends these last 6 weeks. What now? Why now? Is she ready? Charlie sits up. She acknowledges the risk. The risk that was presented by our first kiss and all of the kisses that followed it. She tells me that she is going to miss me, how she isn't sure how she will feel like herself without me. And then Charlie looks into my eyes and says, I love you. And then she bursts into tears and folds into my arms, and her tears flow off her cheeks and down onto my bedtime t-shirt. Oh, and I feel something different. It's a different type of dopamine, a dopamine that says, this person needs me. And I have never felt anything like this high before. With Charlie, the world is beautiful. No matter what, everything is all right. And just like that, I'm hooked. Once you get hooked on something as potent as love, it's really very difficult to stop. Heartbreak causes serious withdrawals. It's kind of like coffee or heroin. Withdrawing from heroin, side effects include nausea, vomiting, runny nose, chills, muscle aches, restlessness, anxiety, hypertension, diarrhea, depression, and insomnia. Growing up, my brother got sick. A lot. He was always coming down with something, and I never understood what that meant. I never understood that his sickness started in his brain and would end in his death. He and I had this inside joke growing up about how late at night, when he'd be up watching TV, our dad would come down the stairs in his underwear and tell him to turn it off and go to bed. God damn it, Andrew, go to sleep. He'd be up watching late night reruns on Comedy Central, and the sound from the TV would wake our dad up, and he wasn't the best at getting back to bed. But there was just something about that image of our dad standing on the stairs, all pissed off in his tidy whities, that made us laugh. But I never understood why Andrew was always up so late. Why he just why you couldn't go to sleep. Withdrawing from love, side effects can include poor decision making, feelings of helplessness, overeating, overexercising, an obsession with dating apps, a rekindled dependency on internet porn, an increased dependency on coffee and alcohol, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Doctors have put patients experiencing heartbreak into MRI machines and showed them pictures of their ex that caused the heartbreak, interspersed with happy memories of family and friends independent from their life with that ex. You, under the stars, around a campfire, at Michael's house, just a little bit too stoned. Your dog Stella, a dog you begged your parents for after you found your childhood dog Flint floating in the family pool. You and your ex, right before the last bell rings before Christmas break. You, your dad, and your brother, after brunch on a sunny day in August, right before you get on a plane to go back to Chicago. You and your ex, after she's helped you move in to your first apartment with your two best friends, a 3-bedroom in Lakeview at Wellington and Clark. Now, when these patients were shown pictures of their ex, their VTA, that part of the brain that says, yeah, you're the one, stay, 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 lit up. But the VTA is confused because that love is gone. Those exes are gone. But the love that died in this world survived in their brains. And that love said, hey, baby, could you help me move back into that apartment at Wellington and Clark? Except this time, do you want to move in too? I think we should live together. These are all the things you need to cook up. Boiling water, cotton filters, 2 spoons, lighter, tourniquet, syringe. First, make sure all of your equipment is clean. No one else can have used it, not even your closest lover. Take some heroin and put it in 1 spoon. Take your other spoon and mash it down as finely as possible. There might be some cocaine in there too. That'll keep you up while you're sinking down. Add boiling water. Take your lighter and further heat the mixture. Make sure it's bubbling. Add your cotton filter. This will soak up what you created. Now take your tourniquet and wrap it around your arm. Find a vein and find a good one. Now take what you've created and pull it through your cotton filter into the syringe. Puncture the skin once. Pull up to draw blood. And then press down, down, down. I want to fall asleep. I need to fall asleep. Why am I so awake? I feel like something is wrong with me. Ever since my brother died, I feel like something is wrong with me. Oh, something. I wish I was home right now. Home as in Chicago, not Virginia. Ever since you died, Andrew, Virginia, it does not feel like home. It just feels like the place where you died. Oh, God, something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with me. I can't sleep. No, I can't sleep because this person sleeping next to me doesn't love me anymore, and it hurts. It hurts all over. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad because there's so much anger. I am so angry. I'm angry at myself for needing to please somebody else, for needing a future with her, for needing to have a son with her and name him Andrew. Oh, I can't stay in this bed. Oh, I can't stay in this bed with this person who hates me or makes me hate myself as much as I do right now. I need to go. I need to get out. I need to walk. I need to walk off this hate that won't go away. Walking will help me feel better. Walking will help me move forward. Walking will help me fix it. Andrew, why did I think a relationship could fix it? When you were alive, it was really easy for me to focus on your addictive personality and ignore my own. I mean, I think we all have addictive personalities. I think we all substitute with something to compensate for something else. I have leaned into love my whole life because I miss you. I mean, I got replaced with drugs years before you died, and I have been trying to replace you with love, a drug of my own. And no matter what I do, I will never get you back. No matter how many people I kiss, no matter how many times I walk around a track, no matter how many times I fall in love, it will never be enough. I put on my shoes, no socks. Looking for socks might wake her up. If I wake her up, she might notice that I know she doesn't love me anymore. No socks make my shoes feel sticky. My feet feel sticky, but it's fine. I need to go. I need to get out. I need to walk. I need to walk off this hate that won't go away, but I need it to go away. I need to fall asleep. Out the door, down the stairs, out the door, into the air, into the street. Walk. Oh, I am walking through a city I don't know, and the sun won't come up. If it was morning, I wouldn't need to sleep. If it was morning, I wouldn't need to pretend like nothing is wrong with me. If it was morning, I could just walk into a cafe and get a cup of coffee. Andrew, I don't know how to not be your little brother. I don't know what to do with all this love I have for you that I can't give to anybody else. I mean, you died, but the love I have for you survived here in my head and in my heart. But I just have to keep walking. I keep walking even though my sockless shoes are giving me blisters and it hurts. I don't know where I'm going. Left, right, left. But I guess I'll keep walking towards the rising sun. The sun's coming up. That must mean it's almost morning. I won't need to sleep. I can just keep walking on till morning. Left, right, left. I'm just like Charlie Chaplin. So many of his movies ended with an Iris Out edit of him walking towards a sunset, except I'm walking towards a sunrise. And towards the sunset, there is hope for tomorrow, and towards the sunrise, there is hope for today. Just for today. Right, Andrew? All this love I have for you is still here. I am still here. I never thought that you'd be dead. You know, I saw us getting older. You coming to my wedding. Getting to be my best man. even though we didn't really get much of a chance to be best friends when we were kids. You getting married but getting a divorce, and then needing to come in and move in with me because I'm your little brother and nobody's gonna break my big brother's heart. You having a daughter or a son and getting to see you become a great dad, and and teaching them not to do all the stupid things that you did growing up. And finding a balance with you in this crazy, reckless life. And it's morning.